Have you ever felt your intuition trying to tell you something, this little nudge inside of you, but you didn't follow it, and then later you kind of wished you did? Well, I think all of us have, but I'm gonna share with you some really easy ways to learn to develop trust and ways to be able to hear your intuition speak to you and develop the language of your intuition. And I've talked a lot about intuition before, so you can go and look at my other videos explaining like what it is and how it kind of works. Um, but these are some really easy tips for you to kind of start to get in touch with that part of you, because once we develop the language of intuition, we'll be able to learn to trust it more. So the first thing that's really important in learning to hear the intuition is acknowledging it. So a lot of times we just dismiss it because, in our the way we've been raised or our culture, we don't really value the intuition and all of its knowledge. But in actuality, it knows a lot more than our logical mind. So just the very act of acknowledging when you are sensing something. And intuition is not a feeling, so it's really more of a knowledge inside your body. So want to think about, where do you sense it? Everybody kind of senses the intuition in a different place. Usually it's in the gut or the heart area, but sometimes it's in the throat or in the head. But acknowledging where you're sensing that in and when. So just like any form of awareness, you want to kind of be able to stop and recognize when it's happening, right? What is happening in the moment. So if you are having, either it's a big decision or a small decision, like right now, we are trying to buy a house. So I'm constantly checking in with my intuition and really acknowledging that it is telling me something. Whether I can discern it or not, that we could save for later. But the first step is really acknowledging. And then thinking about where you feel it in the body, right? So, and you could even write this down in your journal. And another way to really begin to acknowledge and begin to recognize the language is to think about when your intuition has spoke to you in the past, right? When you had to switch a job, or when you felt like you wanted to change jobs, when you felt like you needed to leave a relationship or something like that. Did you follow that intuition? And if you didn't, how did that work out? So you might want to just journal or write about about those times when you actually did sense your intuition talking to you, and how did you sense it inside of you? Was it a knowing? Did you hear something? Some people hear things, some people see things, some people even smell things. So there's all kinds of different ways, but really just acknowledging that and maybe writing down the ways that you have that has spoken to you in the past and what happened. What I recommend for everybody as a practice to try to get in tune with your intuition and practice listening to it in the moment is just taking a chunk of time. I recommend morning. If you have a morning that's free, even just like a couple hours, could be just an hour. But taking the time to follow your intuition's leads. So you could wake up, and then listen to, what does my intuition want me to do right now? What do I want to do right now? Do I want to lie in bed for a while? Do I want to get up and make some coffee? And then do that thing. And then when you're done with that thing, listen to your intuition again, tune in and say, like, what do I want to do next? Maybe it's go for a walk or write, or so following in this way until you have run out of time, or until you feel really satisfied, and just maybe take some notes about what that really felt like to you. How did you sense that? And was it the right thing? Did you get the right answers? And did it make you feel more connected to yourself, to your authenticity, to your soul? That is really what the intuition does, is lead us to the path to our authentic self, to the self where we're feeling very fulfilled and joyous and most ourselves. One other thing that you can do, which I recommend to everybody in my classes and my clients, is to do what I call free writing. So when we do journaling, I don't really like journaling personally. I know a lot of people do, but I don't, because I tend to get into my logical mind. So free writing, if you've ever experienced, it's kind of like stream of consciousness writing, and you can ask a question and then just kind of move past the logical mind, and you can even kind of breathe into that spot in your body where you feel your intuition speaking to you. And then just begin to write without really any logical thinking. Just stream of consciousness, write whatever comes to your mind. And that is a really good way of connecting to your subconscious, to your intuition, and anything that's past the subconscious or the logical conscious mind. It's a way of going deeper. And I do this in all my classes and workshops. And you can also do this with drawing. What I like to do with going back to the writing, what I like to do is I like to ask my intuition a question. So, maybe what is the best thing to do right now, or something, or today? What's my schedule today? So I'll ask a question and then write. That can come a little bit later, but I would do like the free writing first. And I'm going to do a little workshop on that soon, so stay tuned for that. Another thing you can do is in the morning, just ask your intuition what it wants to wear. What is the most fun thing to wear today? I've been doing that lately, and it's really interesting. So these are just some ways that will help you to connect to your inner knowing, your intuition. And, when it comes to when we practice with those small decisions, when it comes to making big decisions, then you have the tools to be able to trust yourself. And if you need any help, I am doing what I call intuition life sessions, which are amazing. We go down and we actually ask questions of that authentic self, that intuition, and connect to it. So you'll be able to hear and feel what it sounds like, to really be aligned with your truth, to really get those answers that aren't in your head, aren't what you think you should be doing or what everybody's told you to do, but you have a direct line to your intuition, and it's really powerful and insightful for the person who is talking to their intuition. So you can check that out on my website or the link in my bio. And I hope this has helped and give you some insight.